My name is Snejana Tenenfeld, and I'm the current council moderator for Christ Church. In 2018, we approved a new set of bylaws, and we once again thank those who worked so hard to bring those to our congregational life. One of the things that we recognize from 2018 until now is that we would need to take some time to live into these bylaws and see what works in actual practice and what might need to be adjusted. Since August of 2022, the Council has been reviewing the first 7 sections of the bylaws, and we have proposed several changes to them that we are sharing with you now. Some are more on the procedural or administrative side of things, and others are more significant. So in this short video, Jen Korpick, our Council Secretary, Pastor Ed and I will be walking through those changes. It may be helpful for you to have a copy of the proposed changes to refer to as we go through this video. Each change we talk about will correspond to the change listed in the packet, such as change 1, change 8, or change 11. Let's do the simple ones first. Change 1 reflects 2 overall changes in the bylaws. One is a complete reformatting of the document that will allow for easier editing and updating in the future. And the other is using the term church council in place of executive council throughout the document.
Change 5 reflects the name change for our United Church of Christ Conference, of which we are a part. Previously, we were a part of the Ohio Conference, and now we are part of the Heartland Conference. Change 6 simply clarifies that Christ Church accepts the baptism of any Christian group as part of membership. Change 9 is a change of a title of a section to make it easier to understand. The word comportment is not a word used very often, so we propose changing it to Our Life Together, as it reflects the ways that we seek to be in healthy relationships with one another in the congregation. Changes 10 and 11 seek to make clear the multiple roles that each council member holds, as they are, at the same time, members of the church council overseeing the spiritual matters of the congregation, as well as members of the legal board of directors. Change 15 allows for flexibility in the future as potential organizational changes for Sanka are in discussion. Change 16 is simply a readability change. Change 18 adds the mission committee to one of the permanent standing committees of the congregation. Change 20 makes a small revision to the communication about regular church council meetings. On to other changes.
Changes 3 and 4 are different, but they are connected to one another. Change 3 is updating the statements that we're using for our mission, or currently known as our guiding statement. We embrace all as we journey the way of Jesus. There's also a minor change to point A that changes the final statement to the gospel. This emphasizes the fact that the gospel is the good news of the whole of God, and not simply the second person of the Trinity. Change 4 clarifies what we mean when we say we practice open communion. The emphasis in the new language, Christ Church, United Church of Christ, practices open communion as we invite and welcome all to the Lord's table, affirms that. As our guiding statement says, we embrace all, and that we are not putting any barriers to anyone coming to the table. Change 7 revises language in the list of responsibilities of membership in the congregation. The first removes the language of winning others to Christ and His church with to lead others to Christ and the church. The second is in the 5th point, where the conscientiously to pursue the Christian training of children entrusted to members' care is replaced with conscientiously to pursue the Christian nurture of children entrusted to the members' care. These two changes emphasize our role in helping lead and guide people in the faith. The third revision here is to better clarify the intent and to use the words of Paul in Ephesians about how we are to bear with one another in patience, love, humility, and gentleness.
Change 8 is a significant simplification of the process of removing people from the member roles. The 2018 bylaws had a very detailed process to be worked through every year. These revisions changes be done in even number years and have a simplified process, but one that is also very caring and upholds the expectations of how membership in Christ Church is lived out. Changes 12, 13, and 14 all focus on the process of nominating individuals to offices at Christ Church. Change 12 is simplifying and clarifying the terms of the different office holders of council members. Change 13 removes the requirement of a secret ballot for the election of officers of the church at the annual meeting. Change 14 allows for outgoing council members to serve as members of the following year's nominating committee. This change was to help the nominating committee to have clarity on what the council is working on and what may be needed in those who would be elected to serve. The committee would not only be made up of these former members of council, but also at-large members of the congregation.
Changes 17 and 19 simply allow for virtual meeting to be held for the congregation and or virtual participants to be official participants in congregational meetings. This change was necessitated by the COVID pandemic and affirms that these meetings, if necessary, are valid congregational meetings. If you have been keeping track as we have gone through these changes, you will notice that nothing has been said of change number 2. That is because the council has discerned that a different process would be better for the congregation to engage this potential change. The change was moving from the 1959 UCC Statement of Faith, which is in the current 2018 bylaws, changing it to the one endorsed by the denomination 19 years later in 1976, which kept the same core theological ideas, but changed the language to be more inclusive. The council felt that this change is one that requires more conversation with the congregation before putting to a vote in a congregational meeting setting. This is a process that will be forthcoming as we work to continue to live into our guiding statement of we embrace all as we journey the way of Jesus. The questions of the language we use when we speak of God is vitally important because words really matter at so many levels.
You will notice that we have not made any revisions to the Articles 8, 9, or 10. There's going to be a review of these during the remainder of 2023, and we will report on these at the 2024 annual meeting. We hope that this video makes clear the changes in the bylaws. Feel free to reach out to any of us about these changes if you have any questions prior to the annual meeting. Thank you.